This old guy DIY video has to do with saying no to crack. Specifically, it's the crack in a dashboard of a 2003 Chevy Suburban that a friend recently got. So she asked me to take a look at this, so I started tearing into it, and then I decided I'd make a video. So it only takes about 10 minutes to get to the dash where it's ready to be removed. And you start out taking the bezel off here. Just reach behind it with your fingertips, pull it loose, and these big holes have spring clips that are into them. So anyway, the bezel comes off. You take the steering wheel, tilt it as far down as you can, turn the key to accessory, put the shifter down to 1, and then the only interference you have is right here where the back of the bezel rubs on the plastic, but it'll pop out pretty easily. And then when you run around this thing, you'll find on the left side and the right side you have 2 screws, and the toughest part of this job is just using a stubby Phillips head to get this screw out back here in the corner, and also the one that's closest to the door hinge on the passenger side. But on each end you have 2 screws. In the middle you have 7mm bolts in these respective holes. I've already removed those. You can see all around there. Now I'm on the passenger side, and on the passenger side you have to remove the vents, and there's a screw inside each vent. There's one over here. And when you pull the vents out, you'll see all that holds them in are these retainers on the side. So all I did is stuck a little screwdriver in on the side here, popped that one out first, then I went to the top, popped that out, and the vent came out pretty easily. And then when it comes to the grab bar, this is what the grab bar looks like, and it has these little detent things in the side right here. And to deactivate that, when you look up in this hole, you can see that little white tab. And you just push the tab towards the center of the vehicle. And there's one on each side at each vent hole location. And then you end up just grabbing the grab bar and wiggle it a little bit, and it'll pull right out. So the grab bar is out. And then you have to remove these A-pillar covers, because you can see the tab that goes into the front of the dash cover. So I can't easily get to that wire, so I'm just going to leave this lay here. And as I go to remove it, the last thing is you have that little light sensor up front. So once I get this dash cover up a little bit, I can reach under it, turn that thing 90 degrees to, I believe it's the left, and that'll come out just like removing a little light bulb. So it took me about 10 minutes to strip this thing down, so I'm ready to remove the dash. Now we'll pull it out. Now the dash cover is loose, ready to be removed. So I'll just slide that back towards the seat, and I can get up in there and see what potentially is rattling around making noise in the dash. And in addition, I'll come up with a plan to repair that crack on the other side. So I have the dash panel out, it's just laying here on the ground. I found here on the driver's side those little resistance welds had broken on this particular panel, so I'll have to glue that back on. There's a crack right here in the middle that I can see from the back side that hasn't come through the front yet, and the crack that I'm here to fix is right here. So what I plan to do is take this in the house, let it warm up first, then in a couple hours I'll take a grinder and just rough this up. And then I'm going to put JB Weld on there and lay a piece of fiberglass mat into the JB Weld, let that dry overnight, and see if I've fixed this broken dash. I'll keep you posted. Well, today we're ready for the JB Weld. So I drilled a hole on each side of the crack, and I took this small wire and cinched it up to close the crack up tight. You can see the crack is here. Then I took a grinder and I scuffed up all this material, trying to get the top coating off of the plastic and leave something for the JB Weld to grab onto. So I have that done. And then at the end of the crack, I drilled a small hole. So in my experience, when you have a crack like that, if you drill the hole, it stops the crack from spreading. It's almost like a cul-de-sac in a road. If you don't drill a hole and break that molecular tendency, I guess, of the crack to continue on, in my experience, the crack will continue on. So I put the small hole there, and then where I was initially going to use fiberglass, I decided it would be much more manageable to just use this piece of old screen. And all I'm trying to do is provide material for that JB Weld to hang on to, since down here all it has is the roughness of the dash back itself and the JB Weld itself. So when I put this in there, that'll provide more structure for my patch. And I bent it here at the front edge, but I can't get it to fit exactly where it goes here. So my plan is to push this thing into place, and then I'm going to put a piece of duct tape across the end where it would be positioned tight. Then I'm going to flip this thing up, put my JB Weld in this area. The duct tape on the end will serve as a hinge. Then I'm going to drop this right back in place, and the duct tape on this end will serve to hold it tight against this front edge so I can pack this thing in with JB Weld. So now it's time to mix up some JB and go to work. Now I have my dry fit hinge in place here with the tape, and I cut this down so it fits in there pretty well. And now I'll start gluing. Now I have a good smattering of JB Weld on there. I'm going to flip this hinge over and press it down into the glue. And today I'm using JB Quick Weld, so this should be good to go in about 4 hours. But this is what my patch looks like now. So I took the screen, pushed it down into the JB Weld with a toothpick. You can see the screen is impregnated now with the JB Weld. And now we'll just let it dry. We'll see if my great plan to say no to crack comes together. This dash cover thing is a never-ending story. So this clip was left in the vehicle after I removed the dash. When I looked here, you can see that the tabs are broken off. So my plan now is to take this thing out to the vise. I'm just going to take a screwdriver and drive it down through where the plastic would have gone. So this thing then will just lay flat in position here, and it'll be down almost flush with the dash itself. And then I'm just going to hit it with a bunch of JB Weld to hold it in place. And then I should be able to put this thing back in the vehicle. I'm finally done with this dash cover repair. It turned out to be like an NFL replay. Upon further review, I initially started to fix a crack that was here. Then when I looked at it, this clip was off completely. This was still stuck by the windshield on the car. So I JB Welded that. And then I came to the grills. This was broken, that was broken, that was broken, that was broken, that was broken. And over here in the middle, we had a crack. So that one I put wire on also. And then this area was broken out. These little guys were all broken. Oh yeah, we have 4 more over here. So I've glued up everything I can find, and I think it's all solid now, ready to go back together. I'm finally putting the dash back in. So the first thing was to reach under and get that light sensor. Now I'm just going to line up the front of the dash with the clips, try to push it into place. Well, it seems that things are lined up, but when I push this in, I flexed this part of the dash, and you can see what happened here. So I still have the JB Weld and the mesh on the inside. So once I get this dash screwed down in place, then I'll figure out what I have to do, probably just some Bondo or something like that, and I'll paint it the dash color, see if I can get this to hold together.